12:30 exactly.
Look at that.
Look at that.
We are live. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 15th episode of Speaking of Stadia. I am, of course, one of your hosts, Aaron Cini, and as with me always is the bearded beauty himself, my favorite John Krasinski on the internet, Too Tall Porter, Jacob. Jacob, how are you?
I am doing good. It's nice and early on this Saturday, so it should be fun.
Hey, show the people what they want. Show the people what they want to see.
A little different.
Show them that sweet new swag. Look at that bad boy. We're on t-shirts now, everybody. You can't buy them, but we have them. My wife went out and got us shirts. And while the Christmas gift was supposed to be just for me, there was a 5-shirt minimum on who she found to do this. So I got one, Porter got one, she got one, my son has one.
Nice.
So,
yeah. She had messaged me saying, "Hey, what t-shirt size are you? If it could be nice to get you in on this present with." So I knew what it was going to be when she told me that. She said, "Don't tell Aaron." So
yeah. So you knew it was coming. Yeah. Sent it out to you, and then like a fool, you always say that sweet wasabi, and I thought you didn't have a wasabi controller. I thought you just had the Premier Edition this entire time. So I sent you a second wasabi controller. Whoops.
Yeah.
So,
well, I will send it back to you if you want me to.
No, I mean, do you need a second controller?
I mean, I could always use more controllers. So.
There you go. How many do you have at this point?
This will be 4 now.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'm probably gonna lend some to my one friend since he has a CCU and he can try to borrow the controller and try out Stadia. So
nice, awesome. Well, let's get to it. Our first segment of every episode is, of course, what have you been playing, Jacob? What have you been playing on the old Stadia?
I'll start on the smaller stuff first. I jumped in really quick to play just to see how Scott Pilgrim was. I mean, that's exactly what I want it to be. It's a beat 'em up. I never actually played it when it originally released.
Okay.
So I think it'd be a fun game to play with my wife because she likes those kind of just button mash kind of games. Because why not? So right, why not? I'm excited to play that with her. She's seen the movie and whatnot. I never actually read the comics. It's like one I want to go back and read. I think it'd be kind of fun to read those. But because I like Oni Press. Oni Press does a good job with the invaders and stuff too. So, nice. But yeah. So yeah, I tried that out real quick. I also jumped into for like a half hour of Figment and what was the other one? El Hio, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Just because I wanted to see what some of these new games for the Pro were. And El Hio is really a stealth game. It's just like a typical stealth. You walk around and you throw rocks to distract people and you try to do different things. I like the theme of it though. It's like it kind of it's at least it starts off. You're in like some sort of like monastery, like you're like is that like a boys' home kind of thing, or kids like kids working at a monastery. You're kind of going around cheering them up and whatnot. It's interesting like how that all works. I'm not sure that's really the theme, but it's very like no voice acting. But it looks kind of looks cute enough. I'm just not really feeling stealth games, so that's not like my like pure stealth games. Like something like Hitman, I'll is a little more into it because that's a little more to that. But for a quick little game, I'm sure that's pretty good. Figment is actually not bad. I actually really enjoyed what I played at Figment. Really dark, like setting for it, surprisingly. Okay. So it starts off. You're like. You just like it's just voiceover. You see like a road, like a line, like a stripe of a roadway, like going by, and you hear these kids, like the kid talking to her parents about I think want to go get ice cream or something like that, and then they get in a car crash.
Oh, that's dark.
And then it just switches to this character, and it's very obvious right away. Like you're a thing in her brain, a figment of her imagination in her brain. That's Figment. But I got a personification of there's different parts of your brain. Like and also like this fear comes in and starts messing with things. So the fear is what she's dealing with in real life, and you're like a little person inside of her brain trying to fight off the fear essentially.
Wow,
which is like way darker than I thought it was going to be. But they're both those last games are isometric, isometric action game, but like built around this kind of like almost like a mix of really like an action adventure, but more adventure. Like you go get this item to go bring it over here to unlock this door. Right. It's a lot of that kind of stuff. But it's a game I actually want to go back to. But that was like a really deep, like like, oh, this is deeper than I thought it was.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is still really cool. I like that. It's a unique take on that. So I think it's a cool little idea. And then, of course, I'm now 22 hours into Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Nice.
I have completed all of Aphrodite stuff, and I think all of Aphrodite stuff now. I did the extra one after that, after you'll fully unlock her, and then Athena. And now I'm on Hephaestus now. I'm like part way through his stuff.
Nice.
Obviously, he's doing side stuff in between and whatnot, but yeah, I'm really enjoying that game. I'm really having a fun time with that. I was talking before this. Like there's a few things with it. I mean, I get why people think the dungeons or the puzzles are too easy. Like that's fine for me because when I go into, I'm like, oh, is this going to be difficult? I don't want to do this right now. I'll just jump back out. Like I don't want to deal with. Like I just want to go and play the game. Like I actually appreciate that they are pretty quick, and some of them are pretty kind of challenging. One of them was like, I was looking at, I'm like, why can I not get this? Like, I mean, it's like, it's so simple. I know it's simple, and I got it finally. But I was like,
no, there was one that I took a really hard route, and I did it way more difficult than I should have. I was like shooting an arrow through fire and then like hitting this thing, and it's the one where you just need to light the ball on fire and then roll through the maze.
Actually, you were streaming that one. I was watching. I was watching that one. Yeah, I mean that one actually, like where you need to go next was a little tough to figure out where, because you would unlock the fire at a certain spot, so it wasn't always very obvious where you needed to go next.
Right.
But that was actually a fun one. I like the challenge in that one, and that was a story-based one because that was for Aphrodite, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, my one other issue with it is, and I guess the difficulty isn't like a huge issue. My one issue is in terms of enemy variety.
Okay.
Mainly in bosses are bigger like items. Like they have like Medusa. Like on the out in the open world, you can find characters like Medusa and the Harpy Queen. I think the Harpy Queen and other. I found those two so far. I don't know what else you can find. I'm sure there's more, especially on that King's Peak.
Yeah.
And my issue is then I was playing the story and also face those same enemies, just like a scaled down version of them.
Right.
And it's like, well, that makes those beating those enemies out in the wild way less impactful to me.
Sure.
Because I already beat them you turned them down to 7 instead of 11. And it's like,
right. And yeah,
for the story, like, and that just kind of takes away from it. Like it's the same move set and everything, like same progression through the boss fight. It's just, they're harder. So it's like, it just didn't feel earned, I guess, in a way. I wasn't able to beat either. Medusa got down pretty hard. I'm like, I spent like 10 minutes fighting her to whittle her down to nothing. I still died. So I'm like, I'm just going to come back and fight her later. Save the Harpy Queen. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, they're really difficult and they're a cool challenge, but I kind of wish they felt more deserved. And also like Aphrodite, you had a quest to go kill some legendary like enemies, like legendary animals, and because you want to make a fur coat or something dumb like that.
Yeah, you have to go by like the lion and all those like legendary.
Yeah, but they're also those enemies also exist for other places in the game. They're just like slightly different. It's just like
they just don't feel as special. Like, yeah, I agree. There's a little bit of copy and pasting going on there,
and that was a little disappointing to me.
Yeah.
But there are some cool enemies that you get later as the game goes on. Like the forearm guys are pretty creepy. Obviously, there's different like levels of the red, blue, and like different difficulty levels of them all.
Again, though, the forearm guy, he's like a big boss that you fight when you're doing the Ares stuff.
So it's like it's a little disappointing. Like it just.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. So
that's the one thing I like. I feel like it doesn't feel they could have just put a little extra effort into enemies to make it feel more rewarding for those fights.
Sure.
But otherwise, just going around the game is fun. Like the story, the characters and story and how they interact with each other is really fun. Yeah. It's really funny because it's my wife walked in and Hermes and Aphrodite were talking to each other and they're like hitting on each other, which is like really weird, but it makes sense for the actual like story, like who they are, like the characters in like in mythology. Because they even talk about how they actually had a kid together. So like clearly they,
right.
It's just really funny. My wife's like, well, what's going on right now? I'm like, yeah, they're siblings. She's like, That's Greek mythology.
Right? It's super weird.
Yep. They all just
Mr. Castillo, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the chat. Hanging out. Always appreciate it.
So yeah, that was. But besides that, I mean, yeah, I'm loving the game. I'm gonna keep going. Hephaestus is really funny, actually. I'm not sure if you've done just Ares or have you gone to Hephaestus yet?
Nope, I haven't been to Hephaestus yet. Yeah, I've only done all of Aphrodite, and I'm halfway through like the Ares stuff.
Okay, so I must be further along than you.
You are further than me now.
Is that you haven't done Athena's yet? So Athena's is unique. She's fun.
Cool.
But Hephaestus it's kind of goofy. I don't know. It's just his character himself is kind of goofy.
For sure. I have been playing that quite a bit, Immortals. But I'm not kidding when I say this. Cyberpunk has its grips so deep in me at this point.
Every time I hop on, I see you on, you're playing Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I am enjoying Cyberpunk like you would not believe, and it's finally clicking for me in the sense of what I don't think Witcher ever actually did. I'm not mainlining anything. I'm doing every side quest, and they're all fascinating, and they it has a moral ambiguity to it that I adore. Choice games to me have always been kind of the BioWare model where they really want you to be is this your good playthrough or your bad playthrough? Mm-hmm. This one is not at all. I'm making decisions based off what I actually think is best for just my character and his survival in this world. There was one side mission where they were hey, this guy messed up. You're working for this big crime boss, and they'll send you on these little side missions. And they're hey, this guy messed up, and he needs to send a peace offering to this rival gang. And I was all right. So I go find him, and he's all right, I need you to deliver this really nice car. And I start driving the car, and there's a banging in the trunk, and it's let me out, let me out. So I pull over, and I open the trunk, and there's a guy in there. Okay. And I was what did you do? Why are you in here? He's I just told the Tiger Claws, no, that's it. And I was and so I had to make the decision. It was do you want to let him out, or do you want to just shut the trunk and keep going? And if I was in a good or bad playthrough, I would have made that decision very easily based off that idea. But instead I was well, I don't really want to piss off this crime boss. That seems like a bad idea. And I don't really know this guy at all. I was yeah, sorry, bud. And I just shut the trunk and got back in the car and delivered him. And then the lady called me and she's I see you don't ask too many questions. I like that. Here's an extra bonus. And I got more money for the side mission or whatever. But that's the kind of stuff moment to moment that is just really hooked me in that game. Also how well it plays. Sorry, everyone who's not playing on Stadia or a $2,000 PC. Yeah. So also the tree branches and how much the RPG systems work, I just think are really, really fun. My buddy is playing he actually just beat it, but he went super high intelligence and really was into the hacking side of it all.
Okay.
And by the end of that guy, by the end of his playthrough, he could walk into a room and just hack somebody and make them just kill everyone else, and then they would just kill themselves, and then he would just walk through the room and pick up all the loot. So that's pretty awesome. So I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk, and then I wanted to talk just briefly about what my kid has been playing.
Yes, I'm very interested in this because yours was I knew it could be predictable.
First of all, hi, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
what's up, man? So I set up my son on our family account. He is 9 for everybody listening that doesn't know. He is an avid gamer at this point, but he only played on Switch really. And then whatever PlayStation games I would let him play. And it started with him playing Immortals with me. And I was man, you're actually getting pretty good at games. So I went in, set up the family account. What's cool about that is it recognizes his email because I've set it up under parental controls. So it knows what games he can and can't play. It doesn't even show him Cyberpunk when he logs in.
Yeah, because you can toggle which games you want to show.
Yep.
Completely. Can you do my rating as well, or is it just
yeah? So I actually bumped him up to teen, knowing that I would just remove anything that was too inappropriate. But there's a couple teen games that I don't care that he plays, like Destiny. That's fine. So he has become obsessed. He has played Hello Neighbor, Hide and Seek, Super Hot.
Does he actually understand how to play those? I feel like it's a game, the Hello Neighbor games. He understands. He loves them. I don't understand them. The tutorials are terrible in those games.
I don't either. And he's
I guess they hear all the kids. I don't know. It's weird.
Right. And what's funny is this is the first time he's gotten really into a game that gives him quote unquote jump scares. When you turn and the neighbor's right there, he's always oh. So that's been kind of fun to watch. And then, so he's played all the Hello Neighbor games, Super Hot, Destiny 2, Thumper, Beats and Shapes.
Yeah, that is fantastic. I really enjoy that game.
But it's to the point like I'm getting up to get ready for work in the mornings, and he's like sitting at our breakfast bar with my laptop open, like all plugged in, and just like playing games until he has to go to school. So he's become probably more obsessed than either of us with Stadia and have the time to play it.
Yeah,
he started his own Immortals character, so he has his own game of Immortals going now.
You guys were playing together, right?
Yep. We were doing my run through together.
I'm done with you, Dad.
Yeah. And like the best part is like today, I've only played Super Hot in VR.
I remember saying that.
And he was like, "Did you know you can take over people's bodies in this game?" And I was like, "Huh?"
Oh, so
yeah. He's like showing me that you can teleport into people and stuff.
In Mind Control Delete, I think you can. If I'm mistaken.
So he's loving it. He's loving every second of it. And honestly, he's opening me up to check out more games on Stadia that like I maybe wouldn't have clicked on for a while. And now I'll like walk past. I'm like, "What is that? What are you playing? That looks cool." And he's good, which is crazy. Watching him play Destiny 2 the other day. I've never really like he doesn't really play first person shooters at all. Like played Halo together, and that's about it.
Okay, so Destiny 2,
right? Exactly. So at least he has that control scheme down. But yeah, I'm like watching him play on his own, and there's like a group of enemies that come in, and there's like one over here, and then some guys over here, and I like watched him perfectly toss a grenade in the middle of these enemies, and they like explode, and then he turns over here and he takes out these guys, and then like another guy charges him, and he like melees him perfectly, and I was like,
"It's awesome,
damn kid! All right, I see you." So yeah, it's been more fun watching him get into this stuff than even my own playing of games lately.
Yeah.
So. It's been a good time.
My daughter is 15 months old and will not.
She
enjoys holding the controller and turning on the TV with our other remote.
Yeah.
But no,
a little bit different phases.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get to the news. Our first story. Let me pull this up right here. Is Stadia 2.52 teases Project Hailstorm, couch multiplayer, Explore tab revamp, and more.
And then also a bunch of Easter egg April Fool's things. Because that's the other thing. Like they have like things about it working on a 56K modem. Yeah, like it's just like little Easter egg goofy stuff that they threw in there too. But
nice.
But yeah.
What do you think about this? Like, let's go kind of tab by tab here.
Start with the couch co-op.
Yep, couch multiplayer. Stadia games that offer local multiplayer, such as Samurai Showdown, allow the main player to connect extra controllers that act as guests. Currently, there isn't a way to join a game locally as player 2 with your actual Stadia account, meaning you can't earn achievements or save progress. With Stadia 2.52 available via the Play Store as of this evening, nice. The app has gained a variety of new texts and pieces of code, all suggesting that Stadia's local multiplayer may soon be getting a revamp.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, this is more or less keep putting it on par with other platforms now. Like
right,
completely. At this point, there's very few features that Stadia doesn't have the other consoles have, especially with this now. Because that's good. I'm glad. I'm hoping it's when you link another controller, it'll ask you to log in. Possibly, I'm hoping like if you want to log in at that prompt you, is my guess, which would be kind of cool. So I'm excited for that.
I would enjoy this, especially now. Like I said, my kid has his own Stadia account, so of course he wants like his own achievements and
exactly
whatever. So this is big. I like this. The Explore tab revamp. Since launch, the Explore tab has been one of the most disappointing portions of the Stadia app for
It's literally nothing.
there is none.
They literally hasn't changed in a year. It literally shows the same Destiny 2, get started. Like the game.
Come on.
Yeah.
Google's made no change to the tab, leaving the page with its basic collection of social media links and an introductory YouTube video. With Stadia 2.52, we found signs of a complete makeover of the Explore tab. While we can't be sure what the new design will look like, there are quite a few texts pointing to what sort of things will be on there. It's things like activity, blog posts, capture, cluster, friend invites, page, party invites, share captures, and trending games. This is something that is desperately needed.
Yes.
Like, I can't.
Like it just
why an entire year it's been like play Destiny 2. Doesn't matter that came out in 2017.
And that, like, I mean, Gary, that was their big game in the first release. Like, I understand you want to onboard people to the biggest game there, but it was very funny. I thought, like, oh my goodness.
56K modems.
Yeah, that's all a joke. There's a few other April Fool's thing that were in there as well, from my understanding. I was watching Jem's video about the teardown, and I think he found some other stuff too beyond just this. But yeah, there's no way that's actually going to work on a 56K modem. But it's a fun they like to do the little Easter egg thing, so I think that's fun. But then the big thing is Project Hailstorm.
Yeah. Lastly, the most interesting addition we've discovered in this update to the Stadia app is a pair of texts referring to a Project Hailstorm. A hailstorm is coming soon, introducing Project Hailstorm from Stadia.
It has like the most battle royale vibes.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's a very like Fortnite-y thing to do. Yeah, for sure. Which maybe, what if it's Fortnite?
I mean, to be called Project Hailstorm, I feel like, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I can't see it being like an exclusive thing for Stadia, because it says interesting Project Hailstorm from Stadia. So it sounds like Stadia team is providing something, a game or a feature.
Right.
Feature wise, I can't think of what it would be though. It just seems like a game. Like I'm trying to think unless it's like an AR, unless it's like an AR or Stadia thing, like, which would be weird.
What if it's just Gen 2 blades?
But it could be that. It just seems like it'd be odd to say. I guess Project Hailstorm. I mean, I guess they do like code names for new consoles. Yeah. So Hailstorm could be the code name for that. I don't know. I'm hoping it's the Gen 2 blades.
That would be the best.
It just sounds like it doesn't sound like hardware. It sounds like a game almost. But
yeah, and I have no idea why they would say Project Hailstorm for Fortnite, but it just made me think. And
it sounds very battle royale. Like it does. Sound like like the comments were coming in whatchamacallit, in Fortnite, like the meteor that hit, like it sounds very like that, like prepping for that. But I'm hyped for that. I'm excited to see more of it. I hope we get it soon. So especially with it being this patch, usually there's a delay of like 2 weeks or so for when we actually see the features. So actually pop up. So they usually get them in the app and then test them a little bit, pop them in here and there. So hoping we start seeing that in the week or so.
For sure. Next on the list is Stadia Share, State Share detailed ahead of Hitman 3 launch next week, coming to all the games in the series.
This is really cool, and I think the feature did this article. I feel like I'm jumping ahead of you. It was on Creta first. That's what I thought. I mean, Creta did have something with this feature as well. But continue.
State Share allows you to capture what's currently happening in a game so that anyone can be invited to play and experience it themselves. For Google, this newest Stadia Enhanced feature is a way to share our favorite gaming experiences with others in a manner that's more interactive than sending a clip. For example, you could invite friends to beat your score or time, knowing that all factors are the same. The feature launched in the beta with Creta last year, but that just shared user-created levels. While Hitman 3 will be the debut title, the first 2 games in the series will be updated with the feature as well. Google today detailed how State Share will be usable within any campaign or custom mission during the missions themselves or the mission complete screen in a World of Assassins trilogy. It will specifically save mission starting location within the beginning of a level, mission objectives, player loadout, including weapon, gear, and clothing, mission difficulty. So,
which is cool. I mean, I think it's a great way of like, hey, I thought this part was really, really cool. See if you guys can do differently or whatnot.
Right.
It's a great way of content creators interacting with their fans in a different way than just, hey, join my game. Like,
right. Yeah, following next week's launch, there will be a tweaked captures and game state section. State shares, when available, will appear as part of screenshots and video clips. They'll be marked with a new icon in the top right corner that consists of the capture square with a play symbol inside.
Cool. I'm interested to see how that works.
Yeah, me too. Good friends of ours, Penultimate Conquest, hanging out. We've been on their show. Lots of fun. Stadia. Yeah, talking about that Stadia. Welcome, Ruben. Thanks for hanging out, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's cool. I like it's exactly like you said. It's a way for content creators to hang out with their fans in a new and unique way. Yeah, Yeah, I'm into this.
It's like, hey, take a video, record you guys doing this section with that I did, or any cool things that happen when you do this, and tweet at me like with it like a clip. Like, I think it's just really cool.
Are you excited about Hitman 3?
I still need to jump in and try Hitman 1 and 2. So I like that kind of game. I do like I liked the Splinter Cell games in the past, so it kind of has a similar-ish vibe, a little different though, a little more stealthy, but this is more pure stealth. Yeah, I think it's I know I'm excited to see what it is. I'm probably not going to pick it up, but I'm excited for everyone that wants to get it. And
that's this guy right here.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I might, because of my obsession with Cyberpunk and wanting to make sure I finish that, I might wait until there's like a price drop, but
yeah, that's where I'm at with like Cyberpunk.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So,
Mr. Castillo says Hitman sounds pretty cool. I loved the first two games personally, so I'm excited for the third one. And I didn't play them until Stadia.
Did you actually play through both of them, or
no? I haven't beat them.
You jumped into both of them though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is why I'll probably wait for the price drop, because I actually wouldn't mind completing the first two. Yeah. So I have plenty of Hitman content to keep me busy, unless the reviews drop, and they're just 10s across the board everywhere, because I'm a sucker for stuff like that. So we'll see. Awesome. Next up, LG's latest smart TVs will offer Google Stadia and GeForce Now in late 2021. Update. This is probably important to start with. In an initial presser, LG pointed to the Stadia app launching in the spring, shortly after the new TV's launch, but Google has clarified that the app will in fact be launching in late 2021. The article has been updating.
And then in the article it also says GeForce Now is sometime this year. They don't have like a time frame.
Okay.
Probably later though than Stadia sounds like from the verbiage. But
gotcha. It would mark the first expansion of Stadia on smart TV platforms. Google has long been developing the service for Android TV and Chromecast with Google TV, but it's still far from ready. Of course, the clock is very much ticking now, as Google did commit to launching support in the first half of 2021. For
Android TVs. Yeah. So yeah, which is that has at this point probably a broader reach than just LG. I mean, I know Sony I think uses Android TV, and there's a few other companies do. So that would get Stadia on those TVs, which is huge. And one of my friends who's actually really invested in Stadia. He messages me all the time. He watches our the podcast.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's watching it right now, but he does usually. He'll message like, "Hey, I just saw you drop like 2 episodes at a time." I'm like, oh yeah, it was me messed up, but
it's fine.
But he has Android TV, so he's like excited to see if it will work with that. So
nice.
Hopefully, I'm wondering how far back my Android TVs will get it, but
for sure.
Either way, expanding outside of the Android ecosystem is a huge step, I think, in general.
I agree.
We're working on something that's not Android TV based, like, be huge. I don't think LG is, from my understanding. They have their own proprietary like OS. I think LG uses a fork of WebOS, if I'm not mistaken, because I think LG bought Palm. If I'm remembering my tech news correctly.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they use a WebOS, which is like freaking wild that they use it for that. But I'm gonna look this up real quick.
I am excited about this news. Anywhere they can put Stadia and get it in people's hands, I think is a win. And the idea that
nailed it.
Did you? Good.
Yeah.
Look at you knowing all the things.
Yeah.
Nice work.
My fault. Tech stuff.
But we've talked about it on the show before. I'm all about removing the barrier to entry, right? Like just get this in people's hands and they see the light.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I recorded another podcast with a friend of mine who didn't really have a good time with Stadia, and then he just like found a switch on his router. He has a Google router. There is a mode in this thing to make it prioritize Stadia. Yeah, and so if you go in the settings, and now he is like the biggest believer of Stadia. Called himself a Stadia fanboy on the show last night. He's like, not as much as you, but like I'm starting to buy almost all my games on Stadia. That's I almost if I had a bigger house, the Google Wi-Fi, the watch. I guess I can judge it by the one puck, but I would do it honestly just for Stadia. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. And then I was telling you before the show, I was on the Dad Beard Nerds podcast, and their host Anthony I was going on and on about Stadia. He's like, God, I actually really want to try this. And so I sent him an extra premiere edition that I had. I just mailed it out to him, and he, pretty cool. He did like a little unboxing video for his own fan base and his viewers. And then like kind of talked about it, but now he was like tagging Stadia in tweets, and he's like talking about how he can't believe the load times are like nothing for him. And like, he's like, oh my God, like guys, like this is literally the future of gaming. And like, I can't believe we're here. And so I don't know. It's really fun that the more we've done this, like we've talked about the group changing and they're
definitely
but just anybody else who finally gets their hands on this tech to see how well it works is always really fascinating to me. And when you get things like the LG TV just coming with it, you wonder how many people it's going to spark their curiosity and be like, I kind of want to check this out.
I am curious with that if it's going to have Bluetooth support for a controller, so you don't necessarily need to use a Stadia controller. I am curious about that in terms of getting the barrier to entry even lower.
Right.
Because not everyone has a Google controller just lying around like that. So
what if they start packaging a controller in with these TVs?
I mean, that'd be cool. Or do like a mail-in rebate thing. Like, hey, if you buy this TV, you can send in to get a controller for free. Like,
true. And they could do that. They could send
for like period of time. Like, I don't know, I could do something like that. It'd be cool. I think it'd be a good promotion.
How they give out those premiere editions though, can you imagine opening up a TV and then it just comes with this little white video game controller, and like that's going to pique your curiosity and you're like, well, you know what, I'm going to check this out. Yeah,
if they partnered with them to specifically do that, that'd be cool. I agree. I think it'd be awesome. I hope they do it. I mean, these, I'm trying to think like how much they actually like would lose in the controllers really to get the people on the service. I mean, if they're that invested, then they're good putting it on TVs.
Then TV by $50. You know, just to offset that cost. Nobody knows.
Yeah. It's true. They can easily just do that.
Penultimate Conquest. Check out their show, by the way. They're great. Honestly, Stadia is slowly becoming the best place to stream. They're finally getting to what they wanted to become.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely agree that like a lot of those promises from early on are finally happening, and it's super cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Next up on the list is Ghost Recon Breakpoint free weekend this January. This comes, of course, from our great friends over at Stadia Source. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint will be going free to play on Stadia for pro members starting January 21st until the 25th. During this time, you'll be able to play the full version of the game, as well as earn achievements and progress that can be carried into the full game should you decide to purchase it afterwards. It's also worth noting that the past free play games have usually gone on sale at a discounted price during or shortly after the event. The Ubisoft blog post states that there will be up to 85% off of the original price. Of course, if you have Ubisoft Plus, you can also play it.
Just play that. Exactly. I was going to say, which we can do that because we have Ubi Plus.
Yes,
really enjoying Ubi Plus. Like just literally just like hopping onto the store, seeing the play icon next to Scott Pilgrim, like, oh, play. I don't even need to think about it. Just play. Yeah. And that's such a great. Scott Pilgrim would be a really fast download, I'm assuming, but still, that seamlessness is awesome. Like also having this full catalog of games in my.
Yeah, because really, like honestly, Breakpoint is one that I've always wanted to try. I wanted to check out what the new state of Ghost Recon is. I like those like kind of third person-y strategy games. So
I love like this like the Division 2. Like I love third person games. Third person shooters specifically. I enjoy. Like that's why I like the old. Like my favorite game is like the old Star Wars Battlefront 2, like the old one. Like that was a fantastic game because it's third person shooter and it's Star Wars. Like what's better than that?
So briefly going back to the LG thing, I just thought this was a really good point. This is exactly how Netflix started on TVs. They just found more and more places to get in front of people very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, the PlayStation 3 was like the cheapest way, like the best. I think the most streamed device was PlayStation 3 for the longest time, and then now it's on TVs, and that's not. You don't need a console anymore.
And now most of your controllers come with a built-in Netflix button.
Yeah, all the Rokus.
Can you imagine if, like, well, and even like my Samsung, it has a Netflix button right on the controller. The PS5 Media Remote, Netflix is one of them. Yeah, can you imagine if we start getting like a Stadia button on controllers?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're doing a lot of right moves. Yeah. We have Ubisoft Plus, so this story doesn't affect us too much.
It's just more about, hey, like if you don't have Ubisoft Plus and you're interested in trying the game, and then or if you like this game and hey, I want to try other Ubisoft games, might as well get Ubisoft Plus. It's kind of thought it'd be a good thing to add in there just to say, hey, like if you're interested in the game, try it out.
If I was going to ask though, if you didn't have Ubisoft Plus, would this get you to try?
Probably. I probably would try. It's a game, again, like you said, I've been interested in those games in general. I know the last Ghost Recon was really good. My friend liked Wildlands, I think was the one before this. He really liked Wildlands. So I'm like, now that it's been a year and they've hopefully made updates and changes to the game that similar to like Fallout 76, where people like the same friend jumped into Fallout 76, said that game is awesome now. Like that game is so much fun. So like I want to see how the game progresses. That'd be kind of cool to see that story hopefully turn to a good side. Similar to Cyberpunk too. I hope it turns around, but it's just sad the company did what they did and got it to where we are now. So
right.
You saw that. Wait, real quick about Cyberpunk. You saw that video, right? About the
the apology. See the
irony.
Yeah.
The blame passing.
Yeah. Hi, Dave. Thanks for joining us. Man, that was a bad apology.
Oh yeah.
It's been rough to watch, like kind of misstep after misstep. Like I haven't seen them get their footing back up yet.
No,
I know I gushed over the game at the beginning, but I also understand that I'm
in the minority.
Yeah. But you don't have to be. You have a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller sitting at home, like you could play Cyberpunk right now. And it wouldn't work really well, and you wouldn't have to download jack.
Yeah, as long granted you have an internet of 30 or more, like well, I guess 20 megs down or more, but
I mean, and that's the thing I've been trying to tell people is that the two biggest new narratives that I feel like we have to keep combating and talking about with Stadia is Google going to kill it, which is a terrible argument. And well, that's great for people with insanely good internet.
No,
and I tagged you.
I saw
a comment the other day being like, you can have average internet and be just fine.
I mean, during Project Stream, I was at my PC, I was getting 30 down and it was working fine. Like no issues. On Project Stream with a PlayStation controller hooked into my, works fine. And then when I first got Stadia, I had 40. And then I got bumped up. It randomly doubled my speeds without telling me to 80. So, but when I first got Stadia, I was at 40 and having no issues.
Yeah. So it's not like you need the ultra fast and Our next story, again, our friends over at Stadia Source. Riders Republic has been delayed. Today, Ubisoft has issued an update regarding their upcoming game, Riders Republic. The update, which you'll find below, confirms that the game is being pushed back from its original release date of February 24th to later this year.
Which I'm absolutely okay with because of how many games they just had come out. Like, why this is even
out?
Yeah, like you just had Legion, Valhalla, Immortals, and you have Scott Pilgrim and Far Cry.
Yeah, like it's okay.
Yeah,
I didn't need every one of your games to come in the first 3 months. But more confirmation. 50 down, and I have no issues on 1080p. If I go 4K, no one else can use the internet.
Yeah, actually, with me, I sit around 80 to 100, and I have had football streaming on my other monitor. I've been playing Stadia on this monitor. My wife's been streaming TV. Okay, this is only a 1080p screen, so it is 1080p. But I've had no issues. Like all three of those going, and no stutter on any of them. So
surprisingly, we haven't done this yet, but I am really curious to see what happens if two of us stream Stadia.
You should do it.
We will. Oh, we will. We just haven't.
What is your internet though?
I don't want to talk about it. I get 450.
Oh yeah, as I say, you'll be fine.
I should be fine.
Riders Republic does look like a fun game, and to what Iman said, it looks like a fun, just like wild game to play, especially with Ubisoft Plus. I'm like absolutely down to play this game, but I'm willing to wait. I did a stink for people that are excited for it, but I think there's lots of other games that Ubi is providing right now to satiate you until then. Yeah, hopefully it's not too late. I'm assuming when it's late, it's going to probably be like August or September. I don't think it's going to be
that would be my guess.
I don't think they push it to October.
For me, yes, it's a bummer that they had to push it back, but at the same time, I think we don't need another. And not that they're not even on the same level, but we don't need any more Cyberpunk issues. We don't. I'm okay now waiting a little longer if they're going to give us a better product. What we don't want to see is them push it and push it and push it, and then still be a broken mess like Cyberpunk was. You know what's crazy? Cyberpunk was supposed to come out in April. Cyberpunk was supposed to come out in April. Yeah, just realize that.
It's just I'm like, yeah, COVID was an issue with that, obviously, for a little bit, like to get the final bugs up. Like that game was supposed to release in April, and they pushed it. They
to December.
It's similar to freaking to like Halo now with Infinite. Like they really pushed it a whole year, and that's what Cyberpunk really should have done. They just pushed it a whole year,
right?
Easily. And just dealt with it.
Yeah,
like so,
and then launched it alongside next gen consoles.
Exactly, with having the next gen update,
launch everything, have a PS5 version, because boy, they did it wrong. Dave has done 2. He did Outcasters 1080 and his son on his iPad. A few hiccups on the iPad, but he did it. One was in 1080, the other was in 720, and they both played PUBG just fine.
Cool, that's good. Good to hear. I like hearing the real life testing.
You know what I did find out about the family account, which I was unaware of, and this was probably like in a press release. I just might have missed it. I didn't know you can't play the same game at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's the I think that was announced when they did that. But
two of us were gonna try to play Cyberpunk, that somebody else is on my family account, and like
that's way to stop people from trying to like add people to your account and. They can still play the game, but like you just can't be playing at the same time. So that's kind of like Netflix. So you're gonna have up to 2 people on the device streaming at a time. But if you go beyond that, you got to pay for the other subscription to get the 4. And
yeah,
all about that money.
All that money. All right, next up on the list is Tohu.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you press the game. But the game looks absolutely beautiful. If you haven't watched the art style is just stunning. I think it's really cool, like hand drawn, like. Kind of art style to it. I recommend if you want to pop up the video. It's just like it's a quick little trailer, but it's just the game looks beautiful. I think it looks really cool. It looks like a really fun little indie game. I don't really fully know the mechanics of it, but it's just like just look at the art style. Like,
and this is coming on January 28th.
Yeah, so that should be fun. I don't know. It looks like I'm something I'm interested in, definitely.
Hey, chat. This is something new for me on StreamYard. Can you hit me up and tell me if you are hearing the audio of the trailer?
Because it's actually kind of big because I want to be able to, once I get my PC running again, get a video made for our opening somehow, so we can have like opening song and then to play us in.
For our audio listeners, we have been streaming live on StreamYard lately, so you can always come check us out on YouTube and talk in the chat. But we are able to like play the trailers, so that's what we're doing right now is checking out the trailer for Tohu, which releases on January 28th. That looks adorable.
And just the art style looks awesome. Like I just think like I don't even care. Like it's a game I would play with my wife. I would like just looks like a fun little passive platformer, like whatever it actually ends up being, but it looks absolutely beautiful. And no audio. So
no audio. Silent. I'll have to figure that out.
I'll look figure out the settings. I know you can do it because I know the I know the Stadia source. So first we can reach out to Avery and see if he can help us out with that.
Cool. I will do that.
But yeah, I just thought it was a cute little game. It looks like a nice little indie game that that's why I put it in here. I'm like, beginning of the year news is a little light. I'm actually kind of glad we waited a bit to do this again because there was like no news until like this week. Got hit with a bunch. Yeah. So CES kind of gave us some news. So, but and then we have one last little like was it? Yeah. So we have the Stadia change log, which is what 95 Google does this like I think every I'm not sure it's every week or whatnot, but they do it fairly often. Just a little like summarization of some other little stuff that happened. Some new games coming to Stadia with Phoenix Point, which in Monster Energy Supercross. Yeah. Monster. The Phoenix Point is like I actually looked at that game because I was interested in it. Yeah. It's a XCOM style game, that kind of tactical XCOM game. So I think that'd be kind of cool. I like strategy games like that. I like turn-based. Like I'm a big fan of like the Fire Emblem games. Kind of has that same idea, but a little amped up a bit in terms of strategy.
Nice.
And then I don't care about Monster Energy Supercross.
I don't. I've never played those games.
For those that care about BMX stuff, they are surprisingly popular games. I mean,
yeah.
So to me, it's not my vibe, but for those that are there for it, got Immortals, Phoenix Rising DLC already. New God expansion. I know they're doing a demo. I'm not sure the demo's on Stadia or not. It doesn't say anything about it. I can't remember if it was or not.
And they're saying this could come out January 21st.
Yeah.
That's
which
crazy.
is like pretty wild. Like the game just came out, they're already having a decent DLC. I'm interested what a new God is. I'm not, from what I've seen of some of the screenshots, it looks like it's a little bit towards like end game stuff. So you're gonna have to
catch up
a bit. So I got a while to go because I still got I'm 20 hours in. I'm not even halfway through the game because I still haven't done anything on King's Peak, and still to be Typhon, and still do Ares too. Oh, Ares to be Typhon, and then King's Peak.
Have you gotten a photo of the lightning strike yet? Because that was a goal of mine, and I finally did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have not yet. Lightning strike on King's Peak?
Yeah, how it constantly will just, every couple minutes, a lightning strikes.
Okay.
And I really wanted to pause it with the lightning, like hitting the mountain, and I did it.
Awesome. I'm proud of you.
It was good. Yeah, thanks.
I
love a good photo mode,
I'm assuming King's Peak is like Mount Olympus, but
me too.
Yeah, so, but it looks cool.
Cool.
And
Immortals, Phoenix Rising, we already talked about that.
Yep.
Outriders gets a slight delay on platforms.
Yeah, this one's interesting because then it's not clear about Stadia on the delay.
Right.
If it's going to be day and date still or not. I saw some on Twitter, a few of the guys from Stadia Source and a few other Stadia content creators talking about this, and they're not sure. So, because the demo is not going to be, at least that we know of, on Stadia. They're doing a demo, but it's going to be on the other platforms. So I think that has people hesitant on it coming day and date Stadia. So this is like the other big news. Probably the biggest news of this article is this. So that's a game I know you're interested in.
Yeah, I thought this looked really cool. It's been delayed to April 1st for now. And again, hopefully it is still day and date on Stadia. So I'm excited to check this out. So I thought it looked really cool. It's one that we've seen a couple trailers of. And
I know the kind of funny guys that did some content on it. So I really haven't watched anything on it. Honestly, I really probably should. Just really haven't. I don't know why. Everything else is just an article.
What they've been playing. But we already do that on our show. We cover what we've been playing. So,
and just for a little side tangent, I've been playing a lot of board game stuff.
Yeah.
And
anything specific?
Board game wise, I played Dune Imperium, which is actually it's actually based around the new movie IP.
Okay.
So it has like the actual characters from the actual artwork, looks like the characters from the game. I played on TTS. It's pretty fun little worker placement deck building game. I almost won the game I played. I was if I had waited and did a different move, I would have won. I'm like, well, maybe I can win this way, and then the guy did a different move. The other guy did a different move that I didn't think he was going to do, and blocked me out of doing something. So, oh well, stinks. But it was.
We'll have to play board
game. Yeah, we need to play board game on TTS. Absolutely. Yeah. And then I'm playing League of Legends a lot again lately.
Nice,
because the new season just started again, and professional and actual season. So, been diving back into that a bit. So I missed at the beginning. So figured when we're on the way, when people are tuning out, we can bore them with Stadia and bore them with League of Legends talk.
Right.
Have you been playing anything else outside of Stadia really or no?
So I like MMA. I'm a UFC fan.
Okay.
I like to watch fights and stuff. And UFC 4 I had been waiting on, and it finally took a 50% off. So I picked that up for $30. And me and my kid like to play that a lot. I've been teaching him that game. My favorite moment being that I taught him how to taunt, and he put his hands up to taunt me right as I threw a head kick and dropped him. Definitely recorded that. And then I've also been playing some Tony Hawk Remake again. Good. Just because the load times on the PS5 are absolutely unreal. Awesome. And it is enhanced. And then I never actually beat Ghost of Tsushima, so I did spend just a couple hours diving into that the other day, and dear God, the new 60 frames per second on PS5, the enhanced mode, it is so gorgeous. Like that game was already pretty, but
yeah,
who doggy combat
Have you finished that then or no?
Have I what?
Have you finished that then, or are you still?
No, I need to go back to it. I'm really bad at big open world games, which is kind of why I've been dedicating myself as hardcore as I have to Cyberpunk to not just drop off the edge of the earth and never finish it. So, yeah, yep.
I mean, that's Final Fantasy. I've never finished a single Final Fantasy game.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 15. I got really far into that game, and then I just never went back to it.
I know. There's something about massive.
Like, I'll wait for patches because it seems like they're fixing a lot of stuff. I'll wait for some patches and then just never went back to it.
I can tell you the last 2 open world games I finished, and it was Horizon and Red Dead 2.
Horizon, yeah. I still need to go back and do the DLC for Horizon, especially before the new one comes out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, that does it for this week's Speaking of Stadia. Thanks so much for hanging out in the chat with us, watching it live. Of course, you can find us on YouTube. We don't have a unique URL because we need 100 subscribers to that. I would love to get youtube.com/Speaking of Stadia. So if you can make that happen, if you would help us retweet things and get us those 100 subs, I would be so grateful because I want that unique URL so bad. And then I can say things like, you can check us out on youtube.com/Speaking of Stadia instead of a string of nonsense that nobody will remember. So check us out on YouTube. You can simply search Speaking of Stadia. We're usually the top one there. You can find us on Twitter at Speak of Stadia because Speaking of was too long. And of course, we don't have a set schedule, so we'll see you the next time that we do this. Also, go ahead and listen to us podcasts anywhere that you get them, other than iTunes because they hate us. So,
but yeah, you choose Overcast or I think it's the one that they have there. I don't know. There's a few other Apple ones. I mean, even Spotify and whatnot. It's all on there. So
yeah, or just pull us up on YouTube. It's also a great way to do it.
So you want to see our beautiful faces?
That's right. Until next time, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.